On October 30th, 2009, I stood before some of you in this same room with a heart of joy and excitement to acknowledge my election as the Southern Christian Leadership Conference's 8th president and CEO and first woman to lead the organization. I accepted this charge, this calling from God in the spirit of service embodied by my parents. I accepted this charge with an eye towards the progress of a people. Today I stand before you with a heavy yet hopeful heart related to the SCLC. With all of the recent governance and legal challenges, my heart is heavy. Nonetheless, I want you to know that I am still committed to leading this great organization further into the 21st century. Amidst the chaos and confusion, there is still a resounding hope. I live with this faith, knowing that there is no crisis beyond the reach and intervention of God Himself, because nothing is too hard for God. Therefore, after much prayer and deliberation as SCLC's president-elect, I am calling for a prayer vigil this Friday, August the 6th, at 6:30 p.m. here at the church where my father grew up and was birthed in ministry, Ebenezer Baptist Church, in the Horizon Sanctuary across the street. I believe that the time is now for us to come together in unity as one SCLC, because the Word of God reminds us that a house divided against itself cannot stand. The SCLC family must be about the business of restoring, rebuilding, and redeeming its own internal soul as we continue in our quest to redeem the soul of America. That is why I'm calling on the entire SCLC family to join me in prayer as we stand together for the next generation of social transformation. Specifically, I'm calling upon every board member and other interested parties involved in SCLC's current challenges, chapter leaders and affiliates and members, those who have served SCLC in any capacity throughout the years, past presidents, those in the civil rights community, those who recognize and realize the historical value and importance of SCLC to our nation's history, those who know that without a shadow of a doubt that they have benefited from the work of the SCLC throughout its 52-year history, and to the public at large from the north, the south, the east, and the west in this great nation of ours. We must never forget that the SCLC is a Christian organization and prayer is a part of our foundation. It is one thing that we have relied upon as a source of strength, hope, healing, and guidance. We must harness our collective strength to answer the question my father described in his last book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community. He said, when a new dawn reveals a landscape dotted with obstacles, the time has come for sober reflection, for assessment of our methods, and for anticipating pitfalls. Stumbling and groping through the wilderness finally must be replaced by a planned, organized, and orderly march. The SCLC and the progress of our people have groped in the wilderness far too long. It is time for us to replace our strides with a planned, organized, and orderly march. We must collectively choose community over chaos. We must put our house in order. We must reach across our differences and certainly across ethnicities to bring about true change and transformation for the betterment of our nation and the world. We must bridge the black, brown, white divide with faith, hope, and love, knowing that our brothers and sisters of the world may have many different pigments, yet we are not bound by color. With this faith, we must do as my father suggested and transform the still jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood and sisterhood. This too is why we must pray, because in a real sense, it is the leadership of the SCLC that has brought about true nonviolent social change in our nation that had and continues to have a ripple effect for freedom and justice throughout the world. We will pray that the SCLC is restored as a moral voice for our nation and world. We will pray for the healing and ultimate reconciliation of relationships that may have become strained and fractured within the SCLC family. We will pray for the revival, the redemption, the resurgence of the organization. We will pray for oneness of purpose, mind, heart, and spirit among the SCLC family. And we will pray that SCLC will become a phoenix rising out of the ashes. For those who will not be able to join us in person, the prayer vigil will be made available via streaming video at letscontinuethemovement.com at 6:30 p.m. on Friday. In closing, contrary to any public perception or perhaps even misperception, there is but one SCLC, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference. It is my hope and it is my prayer to lead a unified SCLC with a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. As long as God calls, I will humbly submit myself to Him. I count it an honor and a privilege to serve. Thank you.
I remember when the farmer, there's a story about a farmer finding Jesus, and he was stopped as he was plowing his field and asking, how do you feel about finding the Lord? And so he told the individual who asked the question, just hold my plow for a few moments. And when the brother held his plow, it's P-L-O-W, the brother got to shouting and jumping around. I rejoice on what was said in this room here. It's long overdue because of the divisiveness and hatred that we have in this city, across this state, and around this nation.
Oh, I'm overjoyed. I'm elated that Bernice is going to take over the helm of this organization, because she is the only person, I think, right now that could bring this organization back to where it was and should be doing the things that it should be doing at this time. Bernice King, Elder King, will do this job. I'm elated that she has accepted the position and is going to move forward and move this organization forward.
I think that it was an awesome vision for the way forward. I think that Elder King has made it very clear of what we need to do, and that's go back to the roots and go back to basics. I think that we have to absolutely make sure that we follow good leadership, and Elder King is providing and offering us good leadership. That's all we got to do. You know, we have to remember that SCLC in the 50s and 60s was born of struggle, and it was born of dissension. And everybody wasn't in love with Dr. Martin Luther King when he started this movement. But the fact is that his ways and his teachings prevailed, and we have to remember that, and we have to go back to that, and we start that with prayer. So Friday night, prayer vigil, I'll be there, and I'm going to bring my folk from Clayton County, because we've been having prayer vigils, and we need more, and we're going to do that. We're going to support her 150%.